Welcome to this episode of Horror Dork, which I probably just topped out the sound from.
Yeah, I'm like, why are you screaming?
Why was I screaming?
He's so animated. Well, you're getting in the Alex Jones character.
Into the Alex Jones character.
Getting to the globalist conspiracy to wear other people's faces.
Exactly. All right, my name's Golden.
I'm Mr. Sir.
I'm Anthony.
Oh, I was
All
hoping you wouldn't be able to answer because it was in the military. Exactly.
And today on Horror Dork, we are talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation, starring Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
Movie is from 1996. Although I think it was made like a year or two earlier, and it was just kind of like held.
Yeah, like released in South by Southwest in like 94, 95.
Yeah.
The return
we
of...
talked about before, like once someone in the bad movie gets known, they're like,
right.
Oh man, we should re-release this.
Yeah, it was released as the return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre originally. And then when Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger blew up, they decided to release it on VHS as The Next Generation.
Yeah. And what were your first impressions on this? Golden, when did you see this movie first? Do you remember?
Oh God, it was way back. It was probably...
You said this is it this one, or was it Leatherface was your first entry?
Nope, my first one was Leatherface.
Okay.
Was 3, yeah. This one was it was probably 95, like right when I was graduating high school.
So probably like right when it came out on VHS.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Because that was back in the days when I would be like go to Blockbuster or the video rental place and just look around and be like, oh, what are we gonna get today? And it's always it was almost always a horror movie for me. And then you throw Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you're like, oh, yeah, let's see what's up with the Sawyer family. I haven't checked in with them in a while.
And it's got a cool cover too. It's got a nice cover of Leatherface. You drag Leatherface with the chainsaw.
Depending on the cover. The other one is floating head of Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger.
I mean, those are like very 90s awful fucking movie posters. They're just nothingness.
That was the cover that I had. Was
Or the one with the lipstick, and the lipstick is a chainsaw. That one I know is a cool poster as well.
I never paid attention to the tagline on that poster.
What is it?
If looks could kill, he wouldn't need a chainsaw.
Ooh.
The person who wrote that didn't see the movie, is my guess. Because while yes, Leatherface at some point is in drag, at no time was it like hot drag.
No.
It's never like, God, I need a piece of that.
Back in my day, Leatherface used to wear pants. Not anymore.
What's this world coming to?
Now he wears a dress. What is going on? What is happening?
I do know that, like, one of the things that I definitely want to talk about is the school dance chaperones candy.
Okay, I need you. I need you to explain this. This has been a picadillo for you for 2 weeks since you haven't been able to talk about this movie.
Well, first of all, the catalyst of this entire movie is this chaperone.
Okay.
So I'm guessing she's the school secretary because she's dressed like her, acts like her. She's sitting outside.
She's dressed
dance.
like a fucking secretary. You know that look.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
So she's sitting outside the dance, collecting the tickets. In that setup, that shot has been in so many different movies. Blah blah. You know what that is?
Probably because it's accurate.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it's accurate, except for the fact that she's there reading a Harlequin romance novel, which even I think had a skull on it, so it was supposed to be like, oh look, she's reading scary stuff.
I don't know.
And she has this ornate candy dish, like porcelain pedestal candy dish with bonbons on it. Who does that? Like, it was like, oh, I gotta sit outside the dance today while I'm reading, so let me bring my 1920s fancy candy dish so I can munch on bonbons as I cause everything in this movie to happen. She's the reason.
Dog, this is what you fucking...
This
is what you've been on about for... I can't even...
Hold on. You think she's the Illuminati?
No, I just think that she's the catalyst that started the whole thing. Because when the girl's like, have you seen blah, 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 whatever his name is? Right then, you see the look on her face and she's like, oh, I thought you were broken up. Because she knows he's out there making out with some chick.
Mm-hmm.
She knows it. And
So she tells him to get.
pokes it, and if
She
he
tells
had-
her that, hey, if you see your boyfriend out there making out with another girl, you should get in the car, drive away, stop, let them all in, and then go somewhere in the
I
middle of
didn't
nowhere
say
where you
that
don't
she
know where you
knew
are.
where it was going to go. I'm saying she's the cause of everything. Had she not been there munching on bonbons, making that comment, none of this would have ever happened.
So she wouldn't have found her boyfriend otherwise.
No. Did she look like a
Bullshit.
smart
She was
person to you?
looking for
Does
him.
she look like it? So what? She's
I
not
know
that
she
smart.
was.
It's
just
not like she told
this-
him.
This.
It's not like she
this
told him
broad.
where he was.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it
She's the
does.
catalyst. She's the catalyst.
No, she's not.
I
I mean,
100%.
okay, whatever, fine, but like
Also, I'm just gonna say this too.
that's your thing.
Shame on them in this movie, in any movie, because they do it all the time. I don't care
Who's they?
how many glasses you put on Renee Zellweger. She's not gonna look ugly. She's not gonna look like the mousy girl that nobody likes. She's still hot. Oh, she's got a ponytail and glasses. She must be hideous. That's a trope in all those movies, and it's always garbage. Always garbage.
Let's take it back 11 years when Mr. Sir watched this. Well, not for the first time, but for the podcast. Or
right.
Old Horror Dork episode. And you're like, it always looks like she's eating a shit and lemon sandwich.
Yeah, she does.
Oh, she definitely always.
She's got like that pierced look. Like, I just tasted something really gross and sour.
Yeah, she does.
So, there's arguably only two good actors in this movie. And even Renee Zellweger sometimes is like, ugh, why are you even trying to deliver this line of dialogue?
I know she's
is one of the ones that.
I mean, this is a nothing movie, and like they're given, like I don't know. I'm sure you have more of an insight on this than I do.
So, as far as her acting,
Yeah, or as far as like what the direction of the film was and everything.
oh no,
'Cause
it's
it's-
Kim Henkel and his brother trying to go back. And I don't know if because Toby Hooper went the comedic route, they thought they would too.
It's awful.
I
It's
don't-
not funny.
Because it's the original co-writer of the first movie that wrote and directed this.
Right. I was kind of surprised to learn that.
So I don't understand. There are some cool things that happen in this movie, surprisingly enough, like the part that they used to use for the TV trailer that made me want to rent this movie in the first place, where
Leatherface is putting on lipstick.
well,
He was like, I gotta see more.
Yeah.
Push-up.
I was like, how far are they going to take this? And I was happy to see they took it far. But no, when he's chasing,
in my opinion. Anyways.
when Leatherface is chasing Renee Zellweger, that part, I think that's good. Filmer's great. I mean, Matthew McConaughey, this was still one of his favorite roles. If you read Green Lights, he has.
I'm sure he's chewing scenery.
Oh, for sure.
He's just like,
absolutely.
he's hamming it up.
He's doing what all the greats did back in like the 50s and 60s with the Hammer films. You know, all those guys that came out of that, like Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing,
Let's
Donald
not
Pleasance,
compare a Hammer horror movie to the Texas Chainsaw. I understand.
I wasn't comparing a Hammer horror movie at all. I was comparing actors.
I know you like that's what the greats did, and then I
think
I know what you mean.
Matthew McConaughey is a great actor.
He is a great actor, but this is not like Christopher Lee was already like an established actor at this point. It wasn't like he wasn't like starting out doing.
But I was saying he's doing what those guys did when they were starting out.
Okay,
right, in horror and stuff.
True.
What are your thoughts on the theory that this was a prequel to Deadpool? Because the guy that recruited
Golden, put your phone away.
Wade Wilson in Deadpool is in this movie as the government agent. So clearly, this isn't actually a theory.
Remember we
me making
talking about him looking like Judd Nelson.
Yes, Judd Nelson.
I am a little upset when you look at this movie on IMDb. The fact that there's one review of it that says it is.
He's on the AV club right now.
It a flick so terrifying and brilliant that it makes the two other Chainsaw sequels look like after-school specials. Like, how much did they pay for that? Because there's no way anybody sees this and goes, Well, this is the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie to date.
I have
Maybe if it's the only one you've seen.
so
Maybe even then.
so while I've been watching these movies, like it's kind of made me reflect on like the kind of horror movie person I was when I was 18, you know, like really getting into like what everything I can watch and getting into everything, and then like what kind of person what kind of movie watching person I was like when we first started Horror Dork like a decade ago.
Yeah, because you made the claim that this was not that bad of a movie until we did the episode.
Yep, and now I've fucking come back around and I hate this movie. This movie fucking sucks,
Yeah,
and I don't. Some of it is fun bad, but even the fun bad stuff, I was just like, this is like. I feel like I'm in the fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre right now. I feel like people are pulling my fingernails off.
Do you feel like that Matthew McConaughey watched like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2?
I mean,
character on the chop top with the like the dinner scene.
Yeah.
Super crazy. Like, 'cause I
like the
feel
dinner
like
scene,
that's what he
actually.
was trying to be, was that style character.
Right.
And as far as the movie goes,
What do you think about his fucking leg? That is the dumbest fucking thing ever. It's so stupid.
You know, look, all these years, I thought it was nothing more than a thoughtless hook and eye patch for Vilmer, but like the Illuminati chose him, so I think it's supposed to show that he has some kind of ingenuity.
Yeah, he's like some sort of engineer,
so he can make a leg that can work his dead leg. I don't know.
The rules of his leg make no fucking sense.
Also,
Tony Stark made this in a cave.
Yeah, okay. With a box of scraps.
It's like 8:00 in the morning, Golden.
Sorry. That's all I can think of when you guys have that discussion.
You gotta look like him too. You look like Obadiah Stane and Iron Man.
Tony Stark.
The box scrap. Anyways,
So, but I also don't understand why he took the time to program probably 50 remotes. He had to program them. They're not just gonna work.
No.
Well,
They're
universal.
RF.
You just hit the one button and then you hit
it was
leg.
my leg function. Yeah.
Find the right.
You gotta
leg
find
code.
you gotta put it in the
And
code.
I gotta imagine at this point, if you rely so heavily on this, you have to memorize what code it is that works with your leg.
Then you gotta go through all your fucking drawers, find the sheet, because you can't look it up online like you can now, which is what I do every single.
He wouldn't be able
Back
to
then
anyway,
you had to pull
unless
out
he
that
had a
paper.
blog and he put it on there.
You'd have to
Yeah,
pull
you
out
had
that paper that
He built that thing himself.
He had a Usenet fucking thing to, and after he was posting about how much how the Simpsons sucks now or whatever. You go on there and post about his leg schematics and everything. And all of his other fucking serial killer friends on his Usenet forum.
If you're using hydraulics, I'm pretty sure you want a steady flow of liquid, so you don't want to use one of those tubes that go in and out.
Are you saying that something in this movie
I'm adding on to what
sense?
Okay, we're talking about the nonsense of the remote, so I'm adding on to it.
No, I know. It makes
I was all in until I
trust
saw
me,
that
I have no problem piling on this fucking movie. Is so bad. And it's really made me like reflect on I'm a fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the movie, and the sequel. And I think that's about it. Like, watching these movies is making me realize, like, man, this series fucking sucks. And it's making me, like, it's good that we did this one first, because it's making me, like, reconsider, like, some other franchises, like Hellraiser. Like, we would have to have a fucking hard cutoff on those movies. Like, after 3, I think, is so rough.
I like Bloodlines. It's enjoyable.
Sometimes you really just got to get into the weeds of them, though, to really understand where they've gone. Get into the ones that
I get
no
that,
sense
but
that
once
they
we
went
get
there.
into the one with like David Caruso and shit, I'm almost like I'm out, man. I'm out completely. And then when they even has Julie in it, that Julie is in that one. She's at the end of it. They like kind of tricked her, like I guess, into coming back for a cameo.
Are we gonna
The David Caruso one? It's in like a hotel room or something. I don't remember the exact plot.
Kirsty?
Kirsty.
Kirstie
Oh,
Alley? Are we gonna end up doing Phantasm at some point? 'Cause
Yeah,
I'll be honest,
for sure.
I
That's
don't
like one of my all-time favorite
know which
movies.
ones I've seen, and I don't remember anything about any of them other than
Right.
the ball.
At
the
least with
tall man
Phantasm,
and
you
the
get the
thing.
same director.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Although, like, the scope doesn't change. Like, his scope keeps getting bigger, but the budget that he is
Gets
given
smaller, yeah.
gets so small. And, like, the last one, man, I would have to go back and revisit
Yeah, it's
it.
like he shot that. I'm pretty sure he said he did shoot that in pieces with digital cameras.
Yeah, that one is a rough-ass movie.
Don Coscarelli's book is really good. True Indie. Have you read that yet?
Mm-mm.
I've been telling you
You've
for
talked,
years.
yeah, I know, and you've been talking
Actually,
about it for years.
It's a pretty easy read. Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights. He actually talks about this movie, The Next Generation, in there quite a bit. Well, more than I thought he was gonna. I was always under the impression he hated it and never wanted to talk about it. But I was so surprised to learn that was his favorite fucking role.
It was probably more of his management trying to, control his fucking image and stuff. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I mean, that movie comes out, and you would think that he's a fucking cheeseball actor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's done 2 roles. One of them is Dazed and Confused, and he's playing a fucking character in that. And in this one, he's playing a fucking character. He didn't get a chance to be,
this is a
rom-com guy.
He's the only reason to watch this movie because every second he's on the screen is watchable.
Yeah, for sure. Like, if I'm going to give this movie anything, is like Matthew McConaughey is bringing it, and he's like the best part of the movie. Whenever he's not on screen, I'm like, "Where's Matthew McConaughey? What's Matthew McConaughey doing?"
Yeah, you got a movie with 2 Academy Award winners, and it's still fucking dumb.
I mean, one of them's Renee.
But
she's good in. She has a fucking thing, and she's good in like Bridget Jones' Diary and stuff.
She's good
like
in her lane.
But like this as like a final girl, she fucking sucks. This
Really?
is so I don't like. I didn't like her.
Because the crazy thing is, it's not crazy. It's actually really understandable. But when you get the 2 kids in the beginning talking, you have Golden and his girlfriend's driving the car.
Why am I that guy?
Because he talks just like you.
Oh, you mean with the age old? If I don't get a release,
yeah, you could get cancer.
My dad's a doctor. I
So,
forgot about that whole fucking thing. I was laughing.
It's like in gym class, like if you play a sport like soccer or something, and then you play it in gym, like clearly it's like playing a video game on easy mode or something.
Right.
It just stands out so much when these 2 actors are on screen. Like,
yeah, and everyone else
is in the shadow. Like,
yeah,
the second she pops up and starts talking, I was like, holy shit. Like, she's way out of these actors' league.
I mean, yeah, it takes away from the movie when like the 3 most recognizable people in your movie are insane. 2 of them are insanely popular now, and the other one is Leatherface. Like,
what's the actor that Steve Jacks? Is that who he played in this and the third one?
It's Robert Jacks.
Robert Jacks. What do you feel about him as
third Jacks brothers? Steven Jacks.
What do you think about him as Leatherface?
I don't mind it. I think
he's
got to be like that. Is the other thing that I've noticed about all these movies is like,
except his squealing.
I don't dislike any of the Leatherfaces like outright so far. Even in the remake which I watched, that was one of the things I did like about that movie is their interpretation of Leatherface and his look.
So
and everything.
Yeah. I rewatched this movie 3 times.
God, dude, you're sick.
I just hate you. It's like
munching on black licorice as you're watching it. Like this is a day, man.
It's like
actually it was Tostitos and salsa, but
it's like the horror movie version of the religious zealots that like flogged themselves. His penance was like he came home and he goes, "I sinned today, honey. Put on Next Generation. I need to repent."
For Lent, I'm giving up good movies. I'm gonna watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation 3 times. I watched this movie once, and I was I'm not fucking doing this.
We were going to do it last week, and
you
got the flu.
Right. I was.
And then I rewatched it again on that Monday. I was like, I'm just getting this out of the way. And then last night came, and I was like, I really forgotten a lot of stuff already. Like my mind's trying to erase it, so I just rewatched it.
Dude, the movie is like, it's greased. It goes into your eyes and like slides off of your fucking.
But like, I can
retinas.
watch it because of Matthew McConaughey, you know, and
Right.
Leatherface.
That's like this is part of the
Leatherface
movie that I
is
remember.
done so bad in the beginning of this movie. Like,
I was a fan of Darla. I like that weird characters.
Yeah, she has like.
yeah, she was good. Yeah.
You could tell that they wanted like Christy Alley for that role.
So I
Yeah,
looked.
absolutely.
100%. Like that is like a
Christy
Christy Alley like knockoff.
So
person.
I looked up the actress, and the
Mhm.
only other thing that I knew that she was from is Varsity Blues, because she's the teacher that's the stripper.
She's the hot teacher
Oh,
in
yeah.
Varsity Blues.
I give you a 10. 10! As much as, you in these movies, you have to suspend your disbelief.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it is impossible to suspend the disbelief long that they kept trusting her as long as they did.
it was
like,
insane.
You're like, okay, maybe in a regular day, if you ran into somebody like that, you might trust them a little bit longer. But if you're now in a situation that they were in at this point, and you're still trusting this freaking weirdo, it's like,
I know.
Golden,
That
if you were a
flashing
teenager, you wouldn't have
teenage-
trusted her.
not a chance.
So
I would have driven by her office so that she'd flash me.
And
But
throw a
I
rock
would
through the
not
window.
have trusted
What
her
a
one bit.
what a reaction!
I know.
And it wasn't even it wasn't men; it was the jealous wives.
Yeah. It's just like, why? Plus, this is a horror movie. Show us the boobs, not the off screen.
So
You got a side view.
It's
The-
not the same. Side boob is not boob.
I'm trying to remember what
It's a difference between PG-13 and R. Or
so
used to be.
what continuity is this exist in? Like, I don't remember what the crawl.
It's
says.
the fourth one.
I,
It
I-
says it happened a couple other times.
okay,
after.
but they changed the name of the family as well. It's no longer, well, I guess because they don't have, it's only leather.
Well, it's a franchise now. That's why.
Right. I guess that makes sense.
It's the franchise.
They bring back Sally at the end as like an uncredited like cameo kind of
I don't
thing.
even know if it's Sally, because there's 3 cameos at the end. There's Franklin and obviously the grandpa from the first movie.
Mhm.
Franklin's like wheeling her in the
Supposed to be,
unless
like-
the chainsaw fixed Franklin's back and he learned how to walk.
I mean, that's not supposed to be Franklin, but
Right.
like that is like I'm pretty sure
that's
like
why I don't understand what's going on, because even if it's Sally,
what's going on? What is happening? I'm just sorry. Go keep going.
even if it's Sally, right? It's clearly not a mental hospital; it's a medical hospital.
Yes, I know.
And they're wheeling her by, and the grandpa, I forget his name, the actor that plays the grandpa, who's like the cop that's investigating her,
John
says,
Dugan.
"We're gonna get to John Dugan. Thank you. We're gonna get to the bottom of what's going on here." And he's like, "Do you know her?" Some bizarre line, but basically, it's not verbatim, probably. But he asks her because they're looking at each other weird. It's so stupid.
It is
They're looking.
stupid. It's
They're
extremely
looking at each other and they're sharing a moment with us, the viewer, as it's happening, and I'm just confused. I am.
Well, because in the crawl it
confused.
said that Sally was like forever insane and she's been locked away.
Did it say that in the
in
crawl?
the beginning crawl? Yeah.
Golden, can you look up that crawl since you got your phone out? If you don't,
Sure.
I'd appreciate it, because I really
I
want to know.
swear, I that was like that's why I asked about it, because I could not fucking remember if this one like just went from part 1 to the last one.
It's supposed to be
but
the fourth one. Yeah,
I mean it makes
because even with the name of it, the original name, Return of, and even with the Next Generation, it's like, hey, you seen the old family?
This
Here's
ain't-
the new family.
yeah, this ain't your daddy's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that's for fucking damn sure.
Live and learn. All right.
I have half a mind to slit your goddamn
he's like,
throat.
I got a mind. Mind.
That line delivery is.
By the way, like that's how you know how good of an actor Matthew McConaughey is, because there's no other way to deliver those lines. I don't think.
No, dude. I mean, it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if on the page it just says the guy just has a crazed look in his eye, just screams everything.
Does
that
he
says.
kill the other brother or whatever, the WC Bloodshed or whatever the heck his name is? The guy that's always doing the quotes? Because
I'm
he
not
doesn't
sure.
show up after he hits him with the hammer.
Yeah, that feels like a deleted scene.
Oh, all I can get is someone recording it And it's so blurry and bouncy.
All right.
I can't.
It wasn't under quotes, huh?
No, it wasn't.
On IMDb.
Oh, wait, maybe it was. Hold on. I can go back to I was looking up.
Not important.
No, it's super important now. I
So,
was looking up trivia. Now I got to go to quotes.
Look, guys, just bear with him. He still uses Yahoo as a search engine.
Listen, do you want me to do
where does this movie fucking...
search?
Where does this movie rank with you so far?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. Like, after all this, we're
like,
gonna
I think this is...
we're gonna have a live
can't-
ranking of every
like,
episode.
I don't know if this one was worse than Leatherface or not. Like, I don't know which
Well,
one I hated more.
Well, I mean, we'll find out. Or wait, Leatherface, the third one?
Yeah.
Okay,
The
because
ones that
there's
we've
also-
watched so far.
Yeah, okay.
I know there's another Leatherface movie, and the one that I haven't watched yet.
I feel like as a whole,
Like, how many
Leatherface
origin stories there need to be? You don't need an origin.
okay, if you're having friends over, right? Assuming,
I have
You have
friends. The fuck?
Oh, here we
What are
go.
these?
and I'll get my point in a second.
August 18th, 1973. News of a bizarre chainsaw-wielding family. Reports, which were to ignite the world's imagination, begin to filter out of central Texas. Regrettably, not one of the family members was ever apprehended, and for more than 10 years, nothing further was heard. Then, over the next several years, at least 2 minor, yet apparently related incidents were reported. Then again, nothing. For 5 long years, silence. That was the opening roll.
My memory hold like whatever it was that I thought I saw. I was fucking wrong.
Hold on, we're
Whatever.
getting some interference from your phone. Just careful.
You told me to pick it up.
It's the thing that stinks.
I was like, what? I got to put my phone right next to the microphone? What's
Yeah.
gonna happen?
Well,
I gotta
no,
do this
like-
and I gotta go.
We've been using dynamics for years and years and years, and we finally got condensers. So just bear with us. So if you have a bunch of friends over, right? This is how I feel like
Friends?
I'm going to differentiate whether it's good or not.
Gotcha.
If I'm having friends over and they're not into horror, but they're like, put something fun on, I feel like you could get away with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. If you put this movie on, unless they're expecting it to be like how Golden and his partner Mike
He's like,
used
unless
to
it's
have-
Golden's friends. Then.
have used to have bad movie night. Like, I don't think people are going to enjoy this.
Absolutely not. No.
I mean, you'll get a little bit of hooting and hollering, but I feel like
it's not gory enough for any like real horror heads. It's not funny, and it's not like it doesn't do the horror comedy thing in a good way. It doesn't, like, the story is insane because in the middle of it there's a twist that like changes the lore of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. And I mean, admittedly, I think this is a fun twist, and I think it's a fun story idea, but it's so fucking out there. And
It was
weird.
wasted in this
like
movie.
really
Yeah, absolutely, that as well.
Really
Like,
all
that's a shame. It's the biggest shame of it is that it's in this fucking movie.
and the difference is between Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 and the Next Generation is you kind of got to watch the whole movie for 3. You could literally watch the last 20 minutes to half hour of the Next Generation.
Exactly.
You're not missing anything.
And
Just give
that's
us-
the other thing is this movie is like so glacial at points. Like,
Yeah.
literally, when Matthew McConaughey is not on screen, you're just like, oh,
Yeah,
my
give me a
God.
Matthew McConaughey smash cut of the movie.
Yeah.
Just only have scenes that he's in the side booth.
And the Leatherface stuff towards the end. But Leatherface in the beginning of this movie, the squealing, I could
I
go the
don't
rest
like
of my
that
life
either.
without him squealing that much again.
What were you-
Holy shit.
What were your feelings about the character that was always
Everybody
quoting
squeals in this movie. Matthew
Yeah.
McConaughey squeals in this movie.
Like,
Renee Zellweger.
Everybody,
It's a high
I mean,
pitched squeal. It's annoying.
they're all screaming, they're all yelling. It's like an episode of Smiling Friends. They're all just going, oh,
So,
fuck off!"
so do you think like when they get together to write another Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie,
They are right now.
that this is what they do? They go, okay, we have Leatherface. Leatherface is in this. Now get out the dartboard of personality, and they just chuck it, and they go, oh, someone who's gonna quote all the, like, because in these movies there's always the characters that have this weird personality thing that would be fine if it wasn't front and center for them.
If
But
they
they hammer
was,
you with it over and over again.
Here's-
if they had more than one dimension to
Yes.
them, I mean, it would be a fun character.
Here's
trait.
what I hope they do is the same thing. So, when Halloween was being remade, and it applies to like us talking about this next sequel that's coming out for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. When Jason Blum got the go ahead for Halloween, I don't know the order, okay, but he wanted to work with David Gordon Green, and so did Akkad and those guys. So he emailed him and said Halloween ? And David Gordon Green got excited, so he got a hold of Danny McBride and Jeff Farley. Is that the
Okay. His writing partner.
And hopefully, the reason I bring this up is hopefully they had the same conversation that David Gordon Green says they had, these writers for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the producers and whoever's involved, where they said, what's the Halloween movie we want to watch? And whether or not you like Halloween 2018, it's a good movie.
I like that movie. I like those movies for what they are. I've come around even on Halloween Ends a little bit, even though when I first watched that movie, I'm like, this is awful. This is not what I fucking wanted.
Halloween. That's why I was so surprised when you said how bad you disliked it, because I didn't feel like... Okay.
Well, when I was...
Do I like the idea of the Corey aspect? No, I hate
Corey sucks. Corey is a sucky ass character. And I mean, that is something that they've that's been like the ether with like those Taking Shape books with like the unmade sequels and everything, is like an idea for Halloween 7 that was never made. This is when they were going to do, when it was before it was Miramax got it, and this was after 6 came out and it was a huge bomb. They were going to go to direct to VHS. They go direct to home video for sequels for Halloween, and one of the ideas was Michael was going to have a like protege. Was one of the stories, and I was like, when I started watching the movie, I'm like, oh my god, they're doing one of those fucking like not unmade Halloween movies.
So Dustin McNeil is his books are phenomenal. He has like, I'm rereading Slash of the Titans right now, which goes through all like the Freddy vs. Jason stuff, but he did like Taking Shape 2. He has a Chucky book. Like, you can't go wrong with those books.
They're very well researched.
Not endorsed by him by any means at all, whatsoever. But I highly suggest if you have not heard of these books,
and if you're like really into like the what ifs of like unmade movies, like Taking Shape 2 is like all about like those unmade sequels, and there's a fucking ton of them.
Yeah,
like one of them was insane sounding that John Carpenter wanted to do, where there's like a 10-foot Jason.
So like they go in like chronological order for like Taking Shape 2 and Taking Shape 1 is all about the behind the scenes stuff for each movie, and then Taking Shape 2 is like the unused drafts for each of the sequels.
It's really
and the sequels in between, but it goes in chronological order, and he's actually interviewing authors or the script writers and stuff.
Yeah.
But back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, bringing up that question. What's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie we haven't seen that we want to see, or you haven't seen that you would like to see?
I mean,
because they already did Leatherface's origin story
twice.
The
beginning is a Leatherface origin story,
yeah.
And then Leatherface is a Leatherface origin story. I mean, they've done the legacy sequel
the beginning,
a couple of times too.
Yeah.
No. Don't get me wrong, and I'll be interested in seeing how I still feel about that movie, because I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters. But I remember walking out of that movie after absolutely fucking hating the remake, walking out of that movie in theaters and saying, "Wow, that was actually a really decent, like, good, nasty horror movie." I wasn't disappointed with that one. But I'm sure my opinion might be maybe different. I hope not.
Like, for me, I think what it comes down to is like, so Leatherface for the series is iconic, obviously.
I mean, that's the thing you need to have.
He's not the interesting character to me. Like in 2, it's Chop Top. That's what I think they need. That's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre I want to see, is focusing more on the interesting character.
Yeah.
Like, have Leatherface, because Leatherface is absolutely needed, and I love seeing him be just absolutely insane and all that stuff. But he's an attack dog.
Yes,
You know,
right.
I don't want to see just the
He's
attack
part.
on-
He's part of a group, and that's sort of like what they kind of get away from in some of them is like, oh, Leatherface is just a killing machine, which is true, but that's not what really makes a
So
Texas
that's one
Chainsaw
thing-
Massacre movie to me.
That's one thing the video game has done really good with their lore is they've added a couple characters and expanded on some of the originals like the hitchhiker and the cook. But they make the characters like really shine and not just some phony because
Like a Rob Zombie fucking character.
it's just too.
But even then, like
they
Devil's,
have depth.
Devil's,
but
yeah, like Devil's Rejects is like probably like the version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre that I would like to see. Like if you put in like if you just added Leatherface into their group.
Yeah.
and
like,
the first movie had
honestly.
like a pretty good balance where all three of the family members were super interesting.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like I think that's where the issue is the mistake.
Yeah, like
that
a road
everybody
movie
makes
with
is-
those.
Well, I was
guys.
adding on to your point.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I
Absolutely,
feel.
'cause-
That's what I feel like the game does really well.
Which and I get it because like if you talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 99 people out of 100 are going to say Leatherface and going to bring
Right,
up
Leatherface, but like another. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. It's like the interesting characters. The more in these movies that they gloss over them,
Right.
and they try to stick more to the tank. And I love seeing the tank, and I like his presence in it.
And
But that doesn't cause the anxiety to me. The anxiety to me is the absolute apeshit crazy person
that
can form words and sentences.
that's something that I did like about the remake. We'll talk more about it next week or whenever we get to it. But they did like I felt like they did balance like the other characters better. I mean, they got like Arlie
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Ermey.
how can you not when you have who you have? And like he's gonna steal thunder no matter what when he's in
Right,
the movie.
but
He's just
I did like the group. They were more like a 2000. They were more like 2003 characters where they're just like everything is dirty and grimy and everything is shot in like a sepia tone.
So how did you feel about Leatherface in this movie, though?
I mean, I liked Leatherface.
Because in the beginning, dude,
I mean, yeah,
Except the beginning.
but like
he's got that Billy Ray Cyrus wig. Remember we talked about that?
yeah.
Don't touch my song, my buzzing crazy song.
I just don't think you done it.
I don't know anything else about fucking Billy Ray Cyrus other than that.
And his daughter.
He was on a
I know.
TV show called Hannah Montana.
I never watched that one.
Where he played himself.
I know Anthony taped every episode.
I did
You,
because my
he's
niece
like-
watched it all the time.
He's like,
So it
wait,
was like-
Miley and Hannah are the same person? What?
Wait,
It was
what?
a wig.
They are?
It was a very Superman story.
That look
She
you
just
gave
basically
me,
put on
like,
glasses and
is
was
he
like, I don't
serious
recognize
right
her.
now?
He's like, I watched every episode. I didn't fucking pick up on that at all. What the fuck?
You
Stanley
ruined it
Poop
for
Dicks.
Yeah, but that to me, that's the magic of Texas Chainsaw
Oh yeah,
Massacre,
yeah.
is the
I
group.
actually had a point about that. Yeah, like the group is an important thing. Another thing that I think is kind of important, well, is that they're in a set spot. You end up in their area. What happens to you get kind of like snared by them. Like you get into their area. It's like they don't really go out and seek you. You kind of just accidentally like come upon them usually.
They're like a roach motel.
Usually, like in
Sex
part
in
2,
Texas.
they're like hunting people and shit. I guess because well,
They do.
Leatherface.
They're
like,
supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah.
In the original script.
Oh, they're hunting people.
Yeah.
Like hills have eyes.
Just
Well,
they can
yeah,
have
like
good
they're
meat.
going around and getting meat for...
Yeah, they're hunting
Gotcha.
people the same way that hunters
Drayton.
hunt for like deer and stuff. Like they're like,
Yeah.
except Leatherface is blind. His
So
brothers.
That's why they're supposed to be out on the road in the beginning
Yeah,
of it,
well,
too.
talking about bringing up Devil's Rejects, I thought, yeah, that would be like a cool like way to kind of flip the fucking thing and like bring them on the road where they're the fucking dangerous ones. But I don't really know how you'd be able to have Leatherface out there because he kind of stands out. Like you can kind of hide
It's a
the other
movie,
guys,
you know.
right?
As long as you
like
make
a
it.
guy, Leatherface, like, okay, we gotta go get some food.
Why have they-
Leatherface has like a fuck.
Well,
He dressed
keep
up
in
like
mind-
a Ninja Turtle to fucking go out there. He's
Keep
got,
in
like,
mind.
the
Oh,
hat.
he's doing the bent brim?
sunglasses. Yeah, he's got a
Keep
big
in mind
trench coat.
they're going out originally in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and it was originally supposed to have Hitchhiker return in that movie. But imagine
Well, he did.
imagine what you're saying, and now you have Leatherface with wearing someone's human face, and you have Chop Top with nubbins tied to him. Just a corpse.
See, you guys, but
It
here's
would
what
be
you guys are
crazy.
not thinking about. You could take that family, and we could bring them to Walmart right now. Nobody would.
You
bat
know
an eye.
what?
Yeah.
Nobody would bat an eye.
You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong.
It
What
would just
about-
be like, oh, it's just.
You know,
Walmart.
I get dirty looks.
What
from
about
old-
like in an urban setting though?
Like, yeah, they're not. They don't hunt in urban settings. They're rural.
I mean, it would be silly, yeah.
it would be very silly. Like you're talking about, you want to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre into Hood.
No, I'd like to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre takes Manhattan.
Well, that
Well,
sort of
Texas
sounds.
Chainsaw Massacre in
But
space.
that sort of sounds like the idea that they're doing is like
it's a suburban.
Yeah,
area.
their area is getting like gentrified. So like
It's a real thing that's happening in Texas.
Oh,
for sure.
I know. Like it's happening all over the fucking country where like these places will like build like these banks and stuff will just like buy all this property and just build fucking unaffordable fucking housing shit.
In 2018, I worked in Dallas for 4 months, and that's all we were doing was pretty much new builds that were going up in the Dallas area.
It's going to be like the beginning.
Personality
Of
less.
Up. Like the
fucking-
beginning of Up. You're gonna have this whole housing development, and you still have the Sawyer.
Yeah, they're
down
fucking
house right in the
they're
middle.
they're fucking farmhouse. with, like all the
You already
fucking
have the
birds.
grandpa. I want a grandpa origin movie. If you're gonna do an origin movie,
Just
For real,
like, do you want like when he's young and spry, or do you want just when he started beginning?
that
to,
would be a good way to kind of spin, like not spin it off, but like do like a different, like a way to do like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of thing without Leatherface. But at that point, just make
Or,
a different
you know
fucking
what?
movie. Don't make don't call it the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Make
what I
an
wouldn't mind?
original thing.
and maybe this is a hot take. I hope it's not.
Oh shit!
But I don't think so. But I wouldn't mind, because in the original script, the idea was that the grandfather was in an embryonic state. He was like born in like 1840 or whatever, and the blood was helping him like be reborn again. That's why he's kind of acting like a little baby when he's getting the blood. Have Bill Moseley come back, and like I know we talked about when we did
There we
Texas
go.
Chainsaw CD.
I'm feeling
where,
it. You're
like,
cooking. I'll let you cook.
Where like
Let's
he
go.
came back and played Drayton and it was awful. But I feel like if you have him come back and play the grandpa, who's now become younger but still has like heavy prosthetic work, and him and Chainsaw just going around fucking shit up, but the grandpa is like has that chop top hitchhiker persona, maybe like a mix of them both, you know, and you kind of get where it comes from. That'd be a fun
If
ass
you want to
movie.
go with that
What do
type
you-
thing, you know,
and you might as well, if you're going that fucking crazy with it, just make him a fucking vampire too.
Yeah,
Just,
well,
he's getting the
straight
blood,
up,
you know?
like straight up, just make him like Nosferatu, like the fucking guy in What We Do in the Shadows.
You know what? And if you really want to confuse your audience, sorry, Golden, I promise I'll get to you after this. If you really want to confuse your audience, have damn it,
I don't know who
the
you're
real life
talking
drill sergeant who plays the
about.
cop in
Arlie Ermy.
Yeah. Have Arlie Ermy come back and play Cook.
I mean, they could have him come back and be the hitchhiker. They dig his ass up and fucking.
When I watched, I won't talk about when we do the remake, but I got like big Cook vibes off him.
Yeah. I mean, he was like
Not the same character, but I could see how they
Right,
could be
right, right.
related,
If-
even though they're not. But
if you really want to go with that route of the blood making him get young and more spry, instead of Mosley, Sam Rockwell.
okay,
Because then he
I'm
can do his
down.
little dances.
I'm
also
down
gets
for
the blood.
Sam Rockwell and
He gets the
anything.
blood and he's just doing like his little
I
Sam
love
Rockwell
Sam
dance.
Rockwell.
He has
Did you
range.
see it? I could see him in old age prosthetics.
I could see him in any role.
just
Did you ever?
just dancing around, going, "Oh, that blood!"
Did you ever see Moon?
See what?
Moon, the movie he was in, Duncan Jones.
I don't think I-
David Bowie's son directed that. He works as like a moon farmer or something.
yeah,
On the
it's
thing. It's
I can see
basically
that.
it's him and someone that's unfortunate
Golden won't
that we
like
won't
that
talk
movie.
about.
Golden will not like that
Why?
movie.
No.
He'll say
It's slow.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Not watching it.
Yeah.
Slow burn.
Duncan Jones' other movie is probably more your speed.
It's just
fucking
artsy.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I was gonna say. What about his other movie, World of Warcraft?
Man, what a I wish that movie would have done well just so he could make more movies. Like he kind of got put in movie jail after that one.
It wasn't really his fault.
It's no. I mean, it's a thankless task, and he obviously was very passionate about
fan
it.
base, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he was very passionate about it, but like the movie is insane nonsense. It's cool looking.
It's a fun ass movie.
Cool looking, and it's like if you're into like that kind of fantasy stuff, which I'm not.
But if you know anything
about
Warcraft lore, you're gonna probably hate it.
I mean, yeah, I don't know fucking anything about that shit.
Like
so it was just like a visual feast for me. Like it was nonsense. I was like, this movie is.
I just watched the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Oh, that movie rules. I love that movie.
I also never played Dungeons and Dragons. I wasn't big into it.
Oh, the new one. Yeah.
You don't liked it or hated it.
For some reason,
loved it. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty like accurate representation of like what you think, what you see in your head when you're playing it. Like Chris Pine's character, like there's points where he's obviously rolling fucking like natural like 1s and 2s and stuff, and he's just like fucking up like. But then his party like kind of is more equipped to deal with stuff, and they're able. That movie is just so fun.
I definitely enjoyed it.
The fat dragon, I love. It's such a fun visual.
What were you gonna say though when I cut you off? Oh, the Sam Rockwell thing.
The Sam Rockwell thing. Yeah, I was trying to. Because in my head, when you were just talking about him being spry and stuff, and that's all I could think was Sam Rockwell and his dance.
Talk about a guy being a vampire, dude. That guy
you probably could just have John Tukin do it now.
Yeah, Sam Rockwell is in the first Ninja Turtles movie as one of like the recruiter fucking Foot Clan guy, and he looks almost the fucking same. Like it's bizarre how young he looks.
So do you think him and Paul Rudd are part of a Hollywood cabal of vampires?
Oh yeah, they're drinking adrenochrome out of children and all that stuff. And, yeah, this is the conspiracy theory episode. I mean, this movie does it goes invited into it.
It doesn't
because
go
it has
that
secret society. You know,
they've been running things for 1,000 years, maybe 2,000. I can't remember which. It's like it doesn't matter.
The reveal of the guy's like when he unbuttons his shirt and he has all those crazy like Hellraiser piercings.
Yeah, it looked way better on VHS.
It definitely did, because watching it on the Vudu copy that you have,
it's 1080p. I'm pretty sure
it's 1080p, and it looks like 1080 POS.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie is awful looking. Like, as far as like, 90s horror movie.
For sure.
I mean, that stuff, it was made for like home video. Like, and having just a little bit of fucking grain and distortion on the fucking screen to kind of mask.
If I really hated myself, I'd pop in the DVD version and watch
You would really have to hate yourself to do that. Watch it a fourth time, dude. I would have to we would have to have an intervention for you at that point.
The third time watching it was rough, man. Like, I wanted to pause it so many times. I'm like, I already know what happened, so I had to keep willpowering my way through it. I'm like, I already know what happens. I can get away with it.
The third watch, it just needs to be on the background for you to pick up on stuff that you're missing. You do not need to fucking pause that movie and make it and extend the fucking legitimately what Golden was saying earlier, just self-flagellating yourself.
Yeah.
I need to pay attention. I can't look at my phone while this awful movie is playing for the third time.
I was gonna just put it on with commentary too, but both my PS5 and my Series X are hooked up through my capture card, so I was like, I have to unhook all that, and this movie's not worth it.
No, I mean, watching it with commentary would be would have made one of those viewings less insane.
Yeah,
but
I mean, at that point, it's you're just
and more insightful, because honestly, I did not look up any of the behind the scenes stuff on this movie other than what I knew from osmosis.
What? Are you on IMDb Golden?
Yes.
What's the user rating right now?
Oh, the fucking... Do you really want...
Yeah, I'm just curious.
The Metacritic or the...
Give me them all.
Metacritic is 50.
Wow, okay.
But that's because 175. Chicago Sun-Times gave it a 75. 63, 60, 50, 50, 50, 42, 40. The lowest it got was 40.
What?
From
You're on Metacritic.
Film Threat.
Yeah, that was the Metacritic.
But what about like the star rating? On top?
IMDb.
3.3 out of 10.
So that's everyone that's reviewed it on IMDb.
But my rating is 1 out of 10.
You did rate it?
Yeah, IMDb does this new thing where instead of you going to it and saying you want to rate it,
Oh man, I got to see.
If you look at it more than once, it goes, "Oh, you should rate this movie," and I'm like,
let me look at Letterboxd real quick for this. Actually, I had another question for you guys.
Yes, I have an answer for you.
just might not.
How did you guys feel about we're talking about the brother that got killed, maybe killed, possibly. Golden, do you think that guy died? The brother when Matthew McConaughey's character Velmer hit him with the hammer? Because he doesn't show up after that. He just falls back around the table. And the grandpa, what's his name?
I mean,
playing the grandpa.
Has a hammer ever fully killed somebody in this?
Well,
series?
hey, the grandpa used to be a one hitter.
Right, but how many of the people have gotten hit in the head with a hammer in this series and still been back?
All right, so if we're counting like Texas Chainsaw 1, 2, and 3 as canon in this movie, Leatherface has fucking gotten his dick buzzsawed off. He's gotten what happens to him in the third? Like he's gotten stuck through with a fucking chainsaw. Like legitimately, he should be dead.
Ken Forey came back from the dead though, after getting
true.
his face sawed off.
And
he's got like a little band-aid. I
guess if
part.
this is positing that Leatherface is the same guy in every fucking movie too, because I mean, since they set up like this franchise kind of idea, maybe everybody like starts out with like when you open a Chuck E. Cheese, everybody gets the animatronics. You fucking start up a Texas chainsaw family, and you're given like everybody gets a Leatherface.
Well, maybe this is their idea for the next Texas Chainsaw
on
Massacre
Letterboxd.
movie.
It shows up as the return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
How pretentious!
So
what originally probably because that's what originally released as.
So we were talking about like, what do you want to see as your? I think this is how they should make the next.
It's got a
Texas.
1.9. That's one of the lowest reviews I've ever seen.
There's some people that
for
gave it
like
a 10, and it's probably
star.
like 10. This movie wasn't as good as I thought it would be.
They probably didn't even write a review. They probably just gave it 5 stars because they like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
They that's what the next Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie should be. It should be like this guy finds out that one of the final girls is still out there, decides he needs to put together his team to hunt her down, and he goes into this warehouse. It's just like those cryogenics tubes. And first he goes to the section that's just Leatherfaces, and you got Gunnar Henson, you got all the Leatherfaces there, and he's got to pick his dream team.
I got you.
Of Sawyer family. And he's like, I need the crazy one. I got a chopped out. Ooh, okay, which cook should I go with? Which grandpa? Or grandma? Maybe you
got the one from Leatherface or the one from the remake.
You never know.
All right, this person PD
the multiverse
I'm
of
not going to call them out,
Leatherface.
but they gave it 4.5 stars. Everybody always trying to go somewhere else to chase clout. Jason took New York. Michael Myers drove to Cali. What? Oh, for H2O. Right. Leprechauns in space. Only Leatherface keeps it real and repped his hometown. Gotta build your local scene.
I mean, he is the only one that, I mean, it is part of the movie title.
Yeah.
Is, like, Jason doesn't have to be in New Jersey necessarily. That's just where, you know, they decided the movie takes place in the first one. But, like, you know, famously in Freddy's Dead, there's every town's got an Elm Street.
Ching!
Stupid as fuck.
I mean, it's true though.
It is true.
Was that part of like why they chose that?
It's a lot of fun.
I have a feeling like I think that I don't like that movie is like also has like really a crazy production with like a like 10 fucking scripts that are just like sewn together to make a fucking Frankenstein ass movie that just is nothing.
Here's where your higher reviews are coming from. This review says it's so absurd and bizarre that there's just no way I can't love it on a 4-star level. So from that aspect, okay, like people are rating it off enjoyment from nostalgia or whatever or absurdity. But as far as like straightforward review, You're not gonna find.
Oh yeah, I don't.
No.
I don't think any sane person looks at this movie and goes, "It was a good movie." Like
Yeah,
and
like most of those are like 5
even
stars,
then,
and it's a
yeah.
sarcastic review.
It just
They're
seems
doing a
it
bit.
just seems people like how like bad it really is. Enjoy it for what happened to the.
So like as I've been watching these movies and I'm maturing as like a movie watcher, I swear this is tangentially related to horror. I started watching Feud, with the FX series about the making of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
I like that movie a lot.
So yeah, because I knew about like
The horror stories of Betty Davis.
Yeah, I knew about like the
And her and what's her name? Hated
Joan
each other.
Crawford.
Joan
Yeah,
Crawford.
her and the background drama surrounding the making of that movie and everything and their rivalry. And as I'm watching the first episode, I'm like, I've never actually watched that movie before. Like I've seen I know about it through like pop culture osmosis and everything.
What's Feud on? Because I want to watch it.
Feud is on Hulu. It's an FX show.
Sweet,
Yeah.
sweet.
It's really good. Like
Oh, for sure.
I
have no doubt.
Susan Sarandon is Betty Davis, like perfectly cast.
I mean,
obviously, like
you have
Betty
like,
Davis. I'm like, well, that's Susan Sarandon. Like that's obvious.
You have
choice,
the classic content the classic story of Hollywood shenanigans.
Yeah, just two bras that just absolutely hate
Two
each other,
bras.
and fucking and studio system that is like purposely like pitting them against each other as well. But like I was like, you know what, I'll just
But
watch
you
that
are
movie.
Blanche. You are in that wheelchair.
That Baby Jane, she is a crazy lady.
Dude, is there a creepier character ever in film history?
Absolutely not. She's bone chilling, and like when you see her, I was like, "That's Betty Davis." Like, it's so crazy. Like you had
Golden.
this
What were
picture
people
of her.
saying when this movie came out?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's I just to put it like, if you don't know what this movie is, it's from 1962. It's like a year after Psycho came out. It's a black and
Chances are
white.
you've heard of it.
Yeah, you've heard of it, but you may not have seen it. It's a really good movie.
Seen it
It's
so many
still
times. I love it.
It's still effective. Like as I was watching it, and I was like on the edge of my seat as I'm watching it.
Yeah.
Like it's really like a really good like effective horror movie. And I feel so much better after watching it. Now I have more context for that show.
Yeah, even though it's like a 60-year-old movie.
It's really it's effective. I mean, there is some like outdated stuff that are from like movies of that era.
I still don't want to get too much into spoilers with it, but even at the end on the beach, like you still have like sympathy for this terrible character.
Yeah, because also her sister, the main character, Joan Crawford's character Blanche, is also not a great person either. Like they're both it's a movie about how the industry like absolutely like corrupts you and just makes you like a nasty person.
Yeah, but imagine someone robbed like 20 years of your life, though.
I mean, sure.
Even though it's your sister.
I mean, this would be getting into spoiler territory about like
right. Well,
the
we can
ending
leave it
of the
at
movie.
that, but yeah.
I don't want to get into that,
yeah.
but you know what I'm talking about, right? You've seen the movie. Have you seen that movie?
I have never seen it.
Yeah, it's so good.
I'll check it out now.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you going to see if it's streaming?
It's not streaming anywhere.
Do I have it on my Vudu?
No. I watched it somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, you borrowed the DVD.
I borrowed it. But I just because I
oh, you know what? I probably watched it on. I used to have a subscription for years to Criterion Channel.
Oh yeah.
So I probably watched it on that or on Turner Classic Movies.
And that made me want. Yeah, and then it's kind of made me. Now I'm going to go and watch Mommy Dearest. Got me into like
why you hanging?
Yes. I mean, I've seen that movie like a million fucking years ago, but now that I've got
great,
like more of a context,
but nothing holds
it.
a candle to frickin'
Baby Jane.
Baby
Whatever
Jane.
happened to Baby Jane?
Yeah. And that song in the beginning gets stuck in your head.
I got a letter for Daddy.
I got a letter for Daddy.
And then when she's singing it later in the movie, when she's like 60,
And she's dude,
Oh,
there's
it's
much good shit, man.
so fucking crazy. That movie, yeah, like that. I know I'm burying this in our Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation review, but my recommendation is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Probably the antithesis of that kind of movie.
Come for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Stay for whatever happened. The segue nobody knew what happened.
And I mean, I'm only on the first episode of Feud. I only just watched that, and then I watched the movie, and I'm gonna continue watching it. But the Feud I would also recommend. I mean, it's very well made.
Golden is on my Voodoo.
Oh, it's on your Voodoo?
Yeah,
Cool,
the
cool.
HDX.
Check it out.
Definitely, yeah, I would recommend it.
I'll put that on my list. I always
and I mean, is for a movie of that, you would kind of expect it to be slow, but it isn't slow. It's not slow at all. It has you like on your seat, like.
And it's one you can watch with the wife and kid.
Yeah, they won't.
They won't.
Definitely not. Like, and I think your kid would be scared of the movie.
That's just what I wanted. Is that my child.
I honestly think, Jane Hudson is a scary character. I found rats in the basement, and listening, and she tried to give her a dead rat.
Dude. Speaking of disgusting stuff, Matthew McConaughey actually spitting pizza on Renee Zellweger.
That was gross.
What
that
the
was gross.
fuck, dude?
Like, do you think that was scripted, or what? Did he warn her ahead of time that he was going to do that? Or was that like in a heat of the moment kind of thing? It's
because he does it a couple times. So
yeah, I mean, you think maybe the first time was like a heat of the moment thing, and then the director was like, "That's awesome." Oh yeah, thanks for spitting on me 100 times.
Yeah. Maybe Renee Zellweger's like, take it as far as you gotta go.
This has to be the last fucking take. I'm not taking another pizza bukkake.
So that's something that they also kind of changed from the lore, is that they're not cannibals. They're eating they go out and get pizza and everything.
Yeah, what the hell?
What is that? Like, so
I mean, I like they're taking steak, but now and then I'm gonna have other food.
Like that, I think that is also like an important part of like the thing is like they're doing it for survival. Like that's part of like integrated into like the lore of the first one is like they're part of like a survival kind of tactic when the slaughterhouse shut down and everything. Yeah, so they needed a different way to do it, and that's how they did it, by being psychotic.
I mean,
these people are just psychotic for the sake of being psychotic.
Well, it's funny though, because like my carpool. I carpool to work with Mike, who I always talk about, but also Tom. And Mike is in Tennessee this week, so he didn't ride with us. It was just me and Tom. And somehow the conversation came up about
it's Tom and I.
The apocalypse. No, you weren't in the car. So the subject came up with the apocalypse, and Tom now realizes that he doesn't want anything to do with me if this happens.
We still have our deal.
Gator Groves? He doesn't want to hang out with Gator Groves?
I brought up, I was like, I think the problem with the movies and everything and the shows and all that stuff, I go, it takes way too long for anybody to convert to cannibalism. I feel like it's going to be a very quick thing for me.
But we still have
our something, deal, right? Okay, again,
absolutely.
This goes back.
Jamestown goes first, yeah.
The Gator Groves is coming out.
You're literally, now you literally are saying stuff that Alex Jones has fucking said on his show. Within 10 days, everyone's will be eating each other. 10 days.
The difference is he's saying it like warning about what's.
I'll eat your leftist ass.
I'm just being honest about me as a person and how I get when I'm hungry, and I'm gonna be like, "What? Why not? Why not?" Pretty early, like the same thing when I watched the movie Alive. They waited way too long on that mountain before they started eating people. I would have been like,
okay,
an hour later.
Wait a second. Hold on.
So the
actual story behind that fucking shit is like they were friends. They were a team. They're all friends, like, and their kids too. They were like all like in their early 20s.
You guys are my friends and all, but if you're, I'm not saying I'll kill you to eat you.
No, none of them killed each other.
If you're already dead. Why should I get hunger pains just because your lifeless body was once my friend? You're dead. You don't care if I chew on your arm.
Okay.
You don't know.
I like to think that as friends, you would want me to do this because you would.
Golden's looking in his pantry and he just sees he just sees ingredients and he's like, man, this fucking sucks. I don't want to make any of this stuff. I'm just gonna go out and eat a guy.
Yeah.
And just like You just see like a bunch of like you're like some pasta, and you're just like, man, I don't want to make this. This isn't what I want.
He's like they get trapped on a film shoot, and Golden starts eating one of the people that passed away.
You just start,
we have a whole cupboard full of canned food. Golden.
I mean, I bet if you just started nibbling on Mike's arm, he would just let you do it until there was bone.
I think he'd be like,
I think he would, and then later on, he would like message somebody like.
I think I misheard that.
Like in the secret group chat, he'd be like, "Golden ate my arm today. I don't know how I feel about it."
Oh, I thought you said
the group chat.
If you nibbled on Golden's, if you nibbled on Mike's arm, you would.
It's probably the one that I'm not in, where everyone's like, "What's wrong with that fucking guy? Why did you invite that fucking guy into our group? What's wrong with him? He's always arguing with everybody about stupid stuff."
We all come together.
He doesn't get my takes. He doesn't get my Spider-Man takes. Talking about one person. Anyways, so all right, let's finish it. Let's wrap this motherfucker up. So final thoughts on Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation.
I feel like it's only watchable in the group of friends, bad movie, make fun of it, or get a smash cut of Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, like
those are the only ways it's watchable. It misses the mark on all the things that are Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right, like of the ones that are unessential as of right now, like absolutely 3 and 4. Like these last 2 entries are fucking. You can skip them completely, and you're not missing anything. Yeah, in my opinion, like I think these movies are they suck. I don't like them. They don't really fit what I feel like is a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, which is set up by, the first 2. Honestly, like the second one, I count that one because Toby Hooper made it. So I think those 2 would be like the canon movies or whatever, and not just because one of them is a canon movie, but
company.
Yeah. Anthony.
Yeah, I think if you're a Matthew McConaughey fan, you gotta watch this movie.
Go on YouTube and look up Matthew McConaughey Texas Chainsaw Massacre and look up and just I bet there's a 20-minute fucking video of all of his scenes. Watch it.
I think like if you're a fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you don't have to watch this, but
you can just listen to this episode.
No, but like
just listen to this episode. You don't have to watch this movie.
You're gonna get Leatherface, you're gonna get over the top crazy family, and what really ruins the movie is, besides like no plot, is the awful acting in the beginning and towards the
story.
Middle
the story's nonsense. They lose the plot on. They lose like they lose a thread on like a lot of like the stuff that I feel like makes those movies kind of essential.
Well, yeah. Well, no, it's not even that. They set up threads and never explore them.
That too.
Yeah.
And they wasted a great idea of the whole franchise.
Right, yeah.
That on a movie that it just wasn't going to hit.
It's introduced at the very end.
And that's like that is like one of the, like a smart like plot way to like explain away like stuff that like how the hell
and
did
if
they
it
not get caught
actually is the Illuminati and that guy is working for Illuminati, why doesn't he just kill Renee Zellweger? That makes no sense.
Yeah, because you need a final girl, and that's why they're getting rid of Sam.
All right, well, for Horror Dork, I'm Golden.
I'm
Anthony, I guess. Again.
Identity theft.
All right, I'm Mr. Sir.